The video is going, so you need to be quiet and listening. Now we are going to do a cone, okay, like an ice cream cone, but not ice cream direction. The bottom part is going to be down. So how we do that is you take your pencil, you want to do light pressure. I'm going to do harder pressure so you can see, but you guys always want to do light pressure because your finished product, you don't want to be outlined. The second you outline something, it looks like a cartoon. And right now we're trying to make it look realistic, not like a cartoon. So you want to come in and you want to do, I have to scoot it for the video a little bit. Can you still see? More or less. I'll kind of angle it like this. There we go. You want to do one line to the left and one line to the right, kind of like you're doing a triangle, but the bottom is not flat. The bottom you want to curve. Okay, just like that. So it's two lines and the bottom is curved. Now, our light source is going to be coming from the left-hand side, okay? So we're going to pretend like there's a sun or a spotlight or a lamp that's shining down in this direction, okay? That would create a highlight on the left side, and then as we go around the shape, it's going to get darker and darker because the light can't hit it because the light's only coming from one direction, okay? When we have this highlight, the highlight, like you can see on the example, the highlight is almost like a triangular shape, and it goes all the way from the bottom to the top. But if you look on this left-hand side up here, we have like a level 1 of value that goes right along the left-hand edge. How do we do a level 1 of value? Very light pressure with your pencil. We're not using our finger to do any smudging. So I want you guys to come right here on the left-hand side, just go up and down this left-hand edge and do a level 1 value. Really light. If you make a mistake, you can come in, you can erase a bit. That's fine, it happens. Just use your eraser, utilize your eraser. And we have a level 1. It's hard to see because it's very, very light, okay? I like to call it whisper light. It's like you're barely touching your pencil. Now, we want to leave a space for the highlight. The highlight is the lightest spot, right where the light hits and reflects off, and that's just going to be the color of the white paper. So we want to leave a spot for that. And then we want to start at the top. We want to do level 1. And we just kind of want to, I'm just going to come straight down with a level 1 value.
So we go straight down 2.
Correct. You would go straight down 2, and you want to fill it in with a level 1. And mine's kind of sketchy looking. I'll fix it. But I'm going to come in with a level 1 all the way from the middle to the right. I'm leaving a large area right here that's just the white color of the paper. Okay. So you guys can see, and it might be hard if you're in the back, I do apologize for that. The highlight is a thin triangular shape on the left-hand side, okay? Then on the right-hand side, the whole thing, we're starting with a level 1. I'm doing that light pressure. I'm trying to fill it in so it's not really scratchy and scribbly because I eventually want it to be smooth, okay? Now, it's got to get darker. Just having one shade and one very light shade does not look 3D yet, okay? So I'm going to come into this middle area right here where you can see my pencil is, and I'm going to do another layer.
Darker?
Yep, but I'm not going to go all the way to the left-hand edge. I'm just going to go right into the middle. I'm going to start building in my core shadow. So if you look up at the screen and watch what I'm doing, you can see that I'm starting to just darken this core shadow area. It's very thin, but it goes all the way to the tippy top. As it goes down, it's going to widen out in the shape of a triangle. Okay? It's a little bit darker. So I'm starting to establish my core shadow. Just do your best for now, and I'll come check it later when we're finished. So if you look up at the screen, you can see, I know it's hard for you to see because it's not the best screen, or I guess the best light bulb, but it's starting to get a little darker right here in the core shadow area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going over it. And as it gets darker, it's actually going to get thinner. The darkest spot's going to be fairly thin. And then as it starts to fade out, you know, the fading out becomes wider. But I'm going to come in here. I'm going to increase my pressure.
All the way to the left?
No.
I mean, right?
Yeah, you do want it to go almost all the way to the right. I'm leaving a little spot on the right that's maybe like a number 3 level, just to show some reflected light. And you can always erase that back in if you covered it up, because I don't think that I verbalized that to you.
I'm kind of having trouble.
Now if you look up at the screen, oops. Shh. And sometimes I come in here too dark and do little things and mess up my shading, and that's fine. It happens. When we get a little crazy and we go too fast, that's when we accidentally put in darker marks that are hard to get out. So you want to keep slow and steady. Okay? Now, I'm going to come into this darkest area and I'm going to do a lot harder pressure because I want to bring it up to like a value 4. Love a 5, but I don't know if I'll get that. At least a 4. And this time I'm using my Halloween pencil, which does not get as dark as I would like it to get.
How do you draw so good?
Lots of practice. And I go slow and I take my time and I don't give up. Okay? Several things. Now, what you should notice is that we're starting to have kind of a fade, and if it starts to look too stripy, I come back in, and where I see a stripe on the edge, I go back and forth with light pressure to try to fade it out, because I definitely don't want stripes. I want it to look faded. And really, if you're struggling, it just takes practice. Sometimes, actually that looks good from here, but I need to look at it closer in just a minute. Sometimes it takes practice. You got to do it a couple times before you really get the result that you want. And the more I go back and forth, the darker it's going to be, and it's hopefully, you know, a nice fade, okay? With at least a level 4 on the inside. Absolutely. Now, we need to have our cast shadow, okay? So the cast shadow is going to, thank you, go right here, okay? And the cast shadow, you want it to touch in 2 spots, okay? It's got to touch here, and it's got to touch here, and it's got to make sense as far as where the light is coming from, okay? So the light's coming from here. Your cast shadow is going to kind of pull out in this direction. It's going to be a similar shape to the cone, okay?
Just make it darker?
Yeah, it definitely needs to be darker, especially right underneath that shape. We want to come in with your pencil, and it's almost like we're outlining it, because we definitely don't want the shape and the cast shadow to look like they mush together. You want them to be separate and different. So, I'm going to come in with hard pressure, and look, you can see the difference, okay?
Whoa.
Very nice, hard pressure. And then
On mine I can't.
I can fade this out, okay? Like this. And the cast shadow, guys, I see a lot of people do them looking like scribbly messes, and that's not cool. That's not going to work for me, okay? You need to come in, you need to fill in all your little white spaces. We need to work on trying to do smooth transitions with our value. Is there an eraser on my desk anywhere? Hey, can you hand me that eraser? Oh, I almost got it. Oh, no. Hey, you gotta hand it to me. I'm too old. Okay. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of erase my edges like this, okay? And not bad, okay? It's got a nice smooth transition. I have a really nice sharp cast shadow. Beautiful. I'm going to come around and see how yours look. Try not to use your tissue for smudging because then you end up getting rid of your highlight because it smudges away your highlight. So you got to be really careful about that.